Well, good morning, everyone. This is a very quiet crowd for a Friday morning here on the glorious campus of Northeast State Community College. Welcome all to the quarterly meeting of the Tennessee Board of Regents. And once again, our thanks to President Jeff McCord and to President Heath McMillan for the presentations we just heard about their respective institutions. As Jeff McCord said here at Northeast State, this is a good place. And I know I can speak for my fellow regents in saying it's been a pleasure to be here for this day and a half, and we thank you for the warm hospitality and taking the time to teach us even more about this great institution. The same goes to our friends at the TCAT Elizabethton for all the work you've put into this as well, and for taking folks over to your institution as well. And Heath, thanks for sharing your personal story, that it was 30 years ago you walked on this campus to take a remedial math class, and today you are the president of one of our great colleges. So what a remarkable story, and we appreciate you sharing that with us, and very much appreciate both of these colleges once again, not just for the hospitality you've extended to us, but for the good work we know goes on each and every day here in Northeast Tennessee. I also want to mention that we know it wasn't even a year ago that this portion of our state, along with North Carolina and Virginia, were devastated by Hurricane Helene. We know you're still in a period of recovery. Our thoughts are with you each and every day, and the strength and resiliency of this part of Tennessee is, in fact, something for all of us to emulate. You all are special people, and the way you are coming back from this natural disaster and tragedy is truly something to behold. I don't want to put him on the spot, but I know Regent Hatcher spent some time yesterday out in the field visiting with folks whose farms and families and lives were impacted by Helene. Any thoughts you'd like to share for us this morning from the time you spent?
It's pretty, I guess it's emotional to see it again. I've toured a couple of times, and it's amazing to me some of the progress they've made, but they've got a long way to go. And the resilience of a farmer still continues to impress me, and most of the attitude of many of them, and the foresters too, that were impacted. They say, we're okay. If you need to help somebody more, go ahead. It's just, and a couple of them were in tears talking to me. It's pretty fresh when you lose that much.
Thank you. Thanks for the time you and the governor have spent on this and your continued care and concern. Thanks for sharing that with us. We have a number of special guests and friends of TBR who are with us today. Dr. Brian Nolan from East Tennessee State University, welcome again, and thanks for being with us last night. You are another Tennessee treasure. And Danny Varlin and I still count ourselves as lucky that we served on the search committee for Brian Nolan in 2011. It's hard to believe these years have flown by, and your leadership to ETSU has just been extraordinary. We're proud to know you. Dr. Rich Rhoda, the former executive director of THEC, is here with us today. And Rich just can't get enough of us. He's agreed to come back as the interim vice president for academic affairs at Volunteer State. So thank you. You continue to be a Tennessee legacy in higher ed, and we are grateful to know you. Dr. Megan Roberts is with us today, I do believe, and she is the spouse of our very own Ross Roberts, our faculty regent. She has her own distinguished career in higher ed at THEC. So welcome, Megan. Two folks from the Tennessee Council for Career and Technical Education are here with us today. And that's Dean Blevins, our former president at TCAT Elizabethton, and Bob Cooper. So if you're with us today, I haven't seen you yet, but welcome and thank you for joining us. And later this morning, we get to hear from a tremendous leader from Knoxville, and that's Mayor Glenn Jacobs. So welcome, and we look forward to hearing from you here in just a little bit. Let me remind all of our board members and those watching online that we are being live streamed, so we welcome those viewers. today's meeting is being recorded and per state law will be archived. So just so you are aware. I know everybody loves to go back and watch these because they're so riveting, right? So thank you. I don't believe I have any further announcements at the moment. So with that, Mariah, would you call the roll?
Thank you, Madam Chair. For our regents who are on electronically, if you could please answer the 2 questions during roll call. First, can you simultaneously hear and speak with others participating in the meeting? And second, are you alone in the room? If the answer to both questions is yes, you can simply answer yes to both. Anyone who is not alone should identify any other people present in the room with the regent. Governor Lee, Regent Burdine,
Here.
Regent DeWitt, Regent Gentile,
Here.
Regent George,
Here.
Regent Harrell,
Present.
Commissioner Hatcher,
Here.
Regent Hooper, Regent Kastner,
Here.
Regent Keltgen,
Here.
Regent Powers,
Here.
Madam Chair Reynolds, Commissioner Reynolds.
Yes, and I am now, alone.
Regent Richardson.
Here.
Regent Roberts.
Here.
Regent Spurgeon, Regent Stevenson, Regent Varlin,
Yes.
and Regent White.
Here and yes to both.
Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. You have in our books the minutes from our February 6th regular quarterly board meeting and from our March 27th special meeting. Does anyone have any changes or corrections to those minutes? If not, we can approve these by unanimous consent since these are non-controversial and are routine in nature. But of course, feel free to object if you would prefer a roll call vote. Hearing no objection, the minutes from February 26 and March 27 are ratified and confirmed. Thank you. Chancellor, I am coming to you with your interim action report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The interim action report was included in the materials made available to all board members prior to our meeting today. This report constitutes a record of business transacted by the Office of the Chancellor since the previous quarterly meeting of the board. Madam Chair, pending any questions, I recommend the board's approval of the report of interim action.
Any questions or comments for the Chancellor on the interim action report? Once again, this is a report that is routine for us and non-controversial in nature. I would propose that we ratify it by unanimous consent unless there are any objections. And hearing none and seeing some nodded heads, we will not have a roll call vote. We will confirm the interim action report by unanimous consent. Moving now to the report of committees. We turn first to academic policies and programs, Student Life Committee. We do have a couple or 3 roll call votes coming up here, so stand by, folks, and be ready. Regent Spurgeon, who of course so ably chaired that meeting yesterday, could not be with us this morning. Seems that there's a little World Series game in Omaha that he's attending for Murray State, which of course is just across the line up in Kentucky, so go Murray State. The Academic Policies and Programs and Student Life Committee did meet yesterday in a public information session to review and report on several items. The first being proposed revisions to the TBR policy with regard to technical college learning support. The second, proposed revisions to TBR policy regarding student organizations. Third, proposed TCAT program approvals. Reviewed the accreditation summary report and overview for 2023-24, which was full of good news. Heard an update from Dr. Deaton on the TBR strategic plan, which continues to move along well. And we will see it as a group this fall and at the September meeting, and an excellent report on dual enrollment. That, unless anyone or certainly a member of the committee has any other questions or comments with regard to the report on academic policies and programs, concludes the report of yesterday's meeting on behalf of Regent Spurgeon. Hearing no questions or comments, Chair Varlin, you've got the External Affairs report.
Thank you, Vice Chair.
Thank you.
The External Affairs Committee met in a public session yesterday to review reporting on the following item. legislative update, including notable bills that I will not read the list of, tracked by the Government Relations Team. That concludes the report of the June 12, 2025 meeting of the Committee on External Affairs.
Thank you, ma'am. That was a good session, very informative. And the same for the next. To Regent George for the Workforce Development Committee, please, sir.
Thank you, Vice Chair Reynolds. The Workforce Development Committee met in public session yesterday to review reporting on the following items: 2024-2025 THEC reporting cycle and TN Works. Madam Chair, this concludes the report on the June 12, 2025 meeting of the Committee on Workforce Development.
Thank you, sir. Very good session. So we have three committee reports, Academic Affairs, External Affairs, and Workforce Development. We will act on these three as a group. We need a motion to approve those reports, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Regent Varlin, and a second?
I'll second.
Oh, thank you. 2 seconds, Regent Burdine and Regent Powers. Thank you. Any discussion on yesterday's work? Hearing none, Mariah, would you take the roll call, please?
Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Regent DeWitt.
Aye.
Regent George.
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Harrell.
Aye.
Regent Kastner.
Aye.
Regent Keltgen.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds.
Aye.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Aye.
Regent Roberts.
Aye.
Regent Varlin.
Yes.
And Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Regent White, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, with the view I have, it's a very, very good morning.
Okay. Oh, very good. That's excellent. We had a view of the mountains here this morning. That was nice too.
Yeah.
Little different.
I've got the golf, so I've got the other side of things.
Oh, very good. Oh gosh, was that your first time after your surgery?
No, golf, G-U-L-F.
Oh, GULF. Okay. We're still waiting on GOLF. Okay.
Yeah, I've got a couple of months before I get to do that,
Okay.
but
Oh,
I'm anxious.
Yeah, please don't rush to golf.
Oh.
Just
No,
kind
I'm
of a
not,
cautionary
believe me.
tale. Wouldn't recommend it. My stepfather is currently regretting that decision.
oh my
right now.
goodness. Thank you, Caden. Well, Regent White, with that good advice, I'm going to turn to you for the report from yesterday's Finance and Business Operations Committee, please.
All right, I'm happy to present it. The Committee on Finance and Business Operations met at Northeast State Community College on June 12, 2025. The meeting was called to order by Chairman Tom White. A quorum was present. Since I, Chairman White, participated virtually, responded during the roll call that I could hear, speak, and others with others in the meeting, and that I was alone in the room. The first item on the agenda was the review and consideration of proposed operating budgets for the 2025-2026 fiscal year and approval of the estimated budgets for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. A motion was made by Regent Harrell and seconded by Regent George to approve the recommendations as presented. A roll call vote was taken, and the committee approved the budgets, which total $1.5 billion for fiscal year 25-26 and $1.6 billion for fiscal year 2024-2025. In addition, the committee considered the proposed LGI budgets under the board's policy on consideration of university budgets. Within its report, the committee recommends approval of the LGI budgets as required by this policy. The final item on the agenda was consideration of the capital budget request for the 2026-2027 fiscal year. Executive Director Dick Tracy was called on for a summary. A motion was made by Regent Kastner and seconded by Regent George to approve the capital budget request for the 2026-2027 fiscal year. A roll call vote was taken, and the recommendations were approved as presented. And since there was no further business to come before the committee, the meeting was adjourned, and that is our report.
And are you offering your report in the form of a motion for approval?
I am making that report in the form of a motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Regent White. We have a motion. Do we have a second for approval of the Finance and Business Operations Committee report?
Second.
Thank you, Regent Harrell. Any further discussion? Hearing none, once again, Ms. Perry, call the roll.
Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Regent DeWitt.
Aye.
Regent George.
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Harrell.
Aye.
Regent Kastner.
Aye.
Regent Keltgen.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds.
Aye.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Aye.
Regent Roberts.
Aye.
Regent Barlin.
Aye.
Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Regent Powers, you moved through a lot in a short period of time yesterday. What's the report from personnel?
I'm ready for it, Madam Chair. The Personnel and Compensation Committee met in a special call meeting on May 28th and in regular session yesterday to review and recommend approval of the following items. There are 8. 1, system-wide compensation strategies, President Emeriti contracts, faculty emeriti, tenure and promotion recommendations for the community colleges and TCATs, faculty promotion increases, executive incentive payments, amended compensation plans for Pellissippi State, Volunteer State, and the TBR system office staff, and lastly, the evaluation of the chancellor. As committee chair, I move that the board approve the report of May 28th and June 12th, 2025 meetings on the Committee on Personnel and Compensation as presented.
Thank you very much. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ross. Second from Regent Roberts. Any further discussion? If not, Mariah, a roll call, please.
Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Regent DeWitt. Regent George.
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Harrell. Regent Kastner.
Aye.
Regent Keltgen.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds.
Aye.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Aye.
Regent Roberts.
Aye.
Regent Barlin.
Yes.
Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. And finally, Miles Burdine, you chaired the Audit Committee on May 28th.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. The Audit Committee met in regular session on 28 May 2025 to review and recommend approval of the following items: external miscellaneous reviews, federal audits and internal audits, system-wide internal audit updates, university updates, fiscal year 2025 internal audit plan revisions, revised internal audit charters, and the system-wide internal audit budget for fiscal year 2026. Madam Chair, this concludes my report on the 28 May 2025 Audit Committee meeting. As committee chair, I move that the board approve the report of the 28 May 2025 meeting of the Audit Committee as presented.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion from the Audit Committee to approve their report. Do we have a second? Thank you, Regent DeWitt. Any further discussion? Hearing none, one more time, let's finish up our committee reports with a roll call on the audit.
Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Regent DeWitt. Regent George.
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Kastner.
Aye.
Regent Keltgen.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds.
Aye.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Aye.
Regent Roberts.
Aye.
Regent Barlin.
Aye.
And Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you all very much. So the report of the Chancellor, who has several things to go over with us today and some interesting topics. So the floor is yours. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Madam Vice Chair. And I do have some great topics to bring before you today. And the first is that I would like to introduce an extremely special group of people to you. This year, we're so fortunate to have our inaugural Chancellor's Fellowship class. This class, this project was put together to build upon the legacy of the Maxine Smith Fellows. And these individuals were all nominated by their presidents and then went through an interview process for final selection. I'd like to just read the criteria to you that they were held to. And it was to demonstrate a proven track record of innovation and success within their current unit, to exhibit strong critical thinking, problem-solving skills, and a solutions-oriented mindset, to show high potential for future leadership roles, and possess a strong commitment to advancing both their personal career and the higher education system, to hold a master's or terminal degree, and to commit to full participation in and successful completion of the program. I was honored to be able to spend just a little bit of time with this group yesterday morning. I would also like to thank our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Deaton, Dr. Lemming, and Deanna Morris-Stacy for putting this program together, along with Dr. Rich Rhoda, who has served as an advisor for the development of the program. It is a great group that's been selected. I know that we are going to have wonderful leaders out of this group to be promoted within our system. So at this time, when I call your name, if you would please stand, and if everyone could wait until the end, we'll give them a large round of applause. Dr. Stephanie Barham from Northeast State Community College, Dr. Corey Campbell from Cleveland State Community College, Dr. Jamie Frakes from TCAT Northwest, Danny Ingram from Dyersburg State Community College, Dr. Shayree King from Southwest Community College, Karen Larson from TCAT Jackson, Kelly Roach from Chattanooga State Community College, Dr. Elizabeth Ross from Pellissippi State Community College, Dr. Michael Sundblad from Nashville State Community College, and Jennifer Wright from TCAT McMinnville. Let's give them a huge round of applause. Thank you all for agreeing to participate, and we look forward for the continued journey that you will be on over this next year. And now, Madam Chair, I'd like to pivot just a little and talk about a wonderful partnership between TCAT Knoxville and the Knoxville County Mayor and the Board of Education there. TCAT Knoxville has established a very strong partnership with the high schools to enhance student success and workforce readiness. Among their recent innovative projects is what's called the START Center. It was developed in collaboration with the Office of the Knox County Mayor, Glenn Jacobs, Knox County Schools, and additionally, TCAT Knoxville has created instructional service centers at Oak Ridge High School, Alcoa High School, Blount Memorial Hospital, and Park West Medical Center. And these initiatives have helped alleviate space constraints, increase capacity, and grow enrollment. At this time, it is my honor to ask President Kelly Cheney and Mayor Jacobs to come up and talk to us about the START Center in Knoxville.
Don't notice the height difference. Madam Chair Reynolds, Chancellor Tidings, members of the board, thank you for having us today. I get a real pleasure and so excited to talk about all the good things that are going on at TCAT Knoxville. I'm so excited to talk about the instructional service centers, the K-12 partnerships we have developed out of necessity. Just to be fair, TCAT Knoxville was completely out of space 3 to 4 years ago with nowhere else to put anything. And Mayor Jacobs and his team quickly responded to lots of our needs and helping us find places and spaces to work and train students. But our K-12 partners like Oak Ridge High School, I have to give a nod to my predecessor who created that first partnership with Oak Ridge High School. We have since developed that into a full-blown instructional service center where our welding program in the daytime and multiple dual enrollment programs. But the cool thing there is we have a complete adult program at night. So our students that graduate from the welding program and others in the daytime, they can go right into the evening program at night. So that is one of those instructional service centers that has been around for a while, but we have taken that model and just expanded it all over the place and in lots of places and spaces in Knox County. But I do have some other guests with me today, and if you're wondering how in the world did we get to developing these instructional service centers, like I said, it was out of necessity. It was out of the reason we need to serve our students. We had a capacity issue. We had the interest list issue. We had some GIVE grants that really helped us launch those programs, so thank you for that. A couple of other things that I do want to tell you about before we get into the START Center, because that is one of our most innovative projects that we have that includes county government and other things. But these K-12 projects, when you move through that and you take a student from their high school and you keep their program right in their neighborhood and right on their high school campus, it is a win-win for the student. But it is also a win-win for our college. It is very efficient operations. We use the equipment that's already in the high school. When they need us, we repair it, we fix it. We do whatever we need to do to support that high school, but we essentially use that space for no lease of any kind. So it's a very efficient model for us to serve students in a way that keeps them in their neighborhood. Another project that we have with Alcoa High School that we mentioned is our pre-practical nursing program. We also developed an instructional service center at Blunt Memorial Hospital just because of that pre-practical nursing program. So we have a TCAT service center inside the hospital at Blunt Memorial where that pre-practical nursing program at Alcoa feeds that program as well. That has been going for about 3 years. We're super excited about it. The hospital charges us absolutely nothing to have that TCAT campus inside the hospital. The same type of model was also incorporated at Park West Medical Center this year to alleviate the nursing shortage. So we are about 140 nurses strong across TCAT Knoxville campuses because of our instructional service centers and creating those pathways, not only for high school students, but for those adults too. So when looking and thinking about our future, I'm going to tell you, I do have a couple other special guests with me today. A student from Carnes High School, and that is an instructional service center that I hope got approved. We went through all the process and we're ready to go. But we put a dual enrollment welding program inside Carnes High School. And we did that because their principal was so active in championing the work of TCAT Knoxville and bringing that type of technical education to the forefront to her students. So we put the welding program in there because there's a huge demand for welding in the Knoxville area. So one of our students with us today is Gabe Daniel. He is a graduate of Carnes High School, and he's with me back there along with his instructor, Austin Rush. Austin is a TCAT instructor who we placed inside the high school. We started with one section, Austin, I believe, one section of welding, and now it's a double block. We went from 18 to 20 students to what is now 40, and we added another instructor right there at the high school. But the cool thing is Gabe transitioned right on into TCAT Knoxville, and he'll be finishing very soon. So we're really applauding him today as well. And to further explain our commitment to instructional service centers and why it was important to TCAT Knoxville, we leaned on our strategic plan. We leaned on the Achieving the Dream Data Summit that we had 3 years ago. Our faculty, the one thing they expressed more than anything that we already knew is we have nowhere else to put other students. And Chancellor, we didn't know about that $1 billion at the time. But we're very thankful for it. So in doing all of that, we developed these instructional service centers and decided to take education to the community instead of the community coming to campus. We didn't have a place to put them, so we're going to go to the people. And that was part of our leadership team and their entrepreneurial mindset and how we were strategically thinking, how do we do this and how do we make it work? So I'm going to lead right into our great partner in Mayor Glenn Jacobs. He heard some of those conversations, didn't you, Mayor? He heard us talk about, we don't have another space to put another student on Liberty Street. What are we going to do? And Mayor Jacobs is no stranger to our campus. He is there often. Our students know him. In fact, our students look forward to seeing him way more than they look forward to seeing any of us on campus. They know when he's around. That is true. That is true. But we're excited that he's here today to talk about the START Center. I do have a video that's going to lead in to the START Center and give you a little hint of what that's about. And then we're going to turn it over to Mayor Jacobs to tell you about his vision and what that really means for all of us in Knox County and especially our students and community.
There are tremendous opportunities within the skilled trades, and that's what the START Center is all about. Skilled Trades Academy and Regional Training Center. It's a great place to start your career in the skilled trades.
these students are able to walk out the door, drive to the Start Center, take a class with TCAT, with a TCAT instructor, get a core construction in CCER certification, along with industry hours to take into the workforce. That's something that has never been done before, and so we're really excited to trailblaze that at Central High School.
ABC is thankful for Mayor Jacobs' initiative to create the Start Center. It's great that our apprenticeship is housed in this great facility. Our instructors are top-notch. You'll get the hands-on training that you need to succeed in your career, and will also help place you with an employer partner that wants to see you thrive on the job site.
For a community to have a place like the Start Center and the TCAT and the ABC be a partner in that, to not only deliver skilled training, but get those industry certifications, meet students where they truly are, where they truly may live in their communities, so that we're accessible to everyone. It doesn't matter which side of the county you live on. There's a TCAT somewhere that can help with that, but the Start Center really fills a niche for this particular area.
The trades provides an opportunity to make a good living and have plenty of opportunity, and not just for the younger generation, but also for, adults wanting to change their career and learn something new. Here at the Start Center, that's what it's all about, is you have instructors and mentors who have been in the field, who have been doing these jobs. Ultimately, you work towards that NCCER certification. So yeah, it is all about being qualified to where when you walk out of these doors, you can go and add value to a shop. And that's what employers look for. And it all starts right here at the Start Center for you.
Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction and video, President Cheney. And I'm very honored to be here today. Thank you all for having me. Before I begin talking about the Start Center, I'd just like to give you all an idea of how my mind works concerning education, some assumptions that I have. All of us learn differently, and all of us think differently. All of us have different skill sets. I know that from my own life. My sister is an academic superstar. She's a rocket scientist. I'm not joking. She worked at NASA. My brother was not an academic superstar, but he is a very skilled mechanic. And both of them have been able to parlay their God-given skills and gifts and interests into successful lives. So all of us think and learn differently. I believe that an effective education system is one that prepares students for life, especially in gaining or acquiring gainful employment and eventually meaningful careers. And then also, education is not just about the student. It's about our community. And for us to be successful, we have to have a quality education system. It used to be that when you were recruiting businesses, it was all about the site. Do you have the building? Do you have the land? Do you have the whatever? Now it's all about the workforce and the talent. They'll figure the site out, but if you don't have the talent, they ain't coming. So those things are really what drove me when I was thinking about what could I as county mayor do concerning education. I'm not directly involved in the education system. And this is where we kind of got this idea for the Start Center, because it is a little bit outside of Knox County, well, it's well outside Knox County schools, but it's a little bit outside of the conventional education system in that initially we worked with the Associated Belgian Contractors. It's an apprenticeship center in the evening. And we were fortunate enough to get a grant from the state of Tennessee, thank you very much, to renovate the building for that use. But along the way, we had always thought, how can it be utilized fully? Okay, and how can we give it a cool name? Okay, a lot of people think my background's in entertainment, it's actually in marketing. So, Skilled Trades Academy, Regional Training Center, the Start Center, great careers begin at the Start Center. Bam, there you go. But then that's where TCAT comes in as well as Knox County Schools. Okay, so now we are on the verge of being able to incorporate all of these partners together and bringing in, literally embedding TCAT into our schools and our students with dual enrollment at TCAT. This is actually not a new idea. We already do it in Knox County. We have a high school called the Career Magnet Academy, which is on the campus of Pellissippi State Community College at Strawberry Plains. It's also something that we saw at Research Triangle in North Carolina. We had a group of my folks and some folks in the chamber go over there, and one of the things that they do is the largest community college in North Carolina is in Research Triangle, and they have what they call middle college courses where kids are doing dual enrollment. So when they come out of high school, they're already prepared to go into the workforce right there at the Research Triangle. And that's what we're trying to do here. So we're expanding the courses that are being offered at the START Center, but more so we're expanding our partnerships. One of the most important things actually that's happened is a couple of years ago we had a new superintendent at Knox County Schools, Dr. John Reiswick, who is very forward thinking, just thinks outside the box. We've gone to an academy model of our schools, which means that we're working with Ford Next Generation Learning on each of our high schools, kind of specialize in a different career path, but there's no CTE path at this point. And Dr. Reiswick would like to convert one of our alternative high schools, which is only 2 blocks away from the START Center, into that skilled trades high school. The kids would spend the first part of their day at the school in the classroom learning academics. Then they would go over for the dual enrollment at the START Center. That's actually what my brother did. We were fortunate enough to have a tri-county. I went to a consolidated high school, county high school. We had a tri-county VOTEC school, and he'd spent the first part of his day in the conventional classroom. Then he would go and study auto mechanics for the rest of his day. And I don't know what would have happened to his life if he hadn't had that opportunity, frankly. So this is something that's very personal to me as well. And the other thing that is very rewarding and will make this successful is the relationships. We couldn't do this without the folks at Knox County Schools, without Kelly and her team at TCAT, without Pellissippi State and Dr. Anthony Wise and all the wonderful things that they're doing. I cannot overstate that enough. We have great people. We have people that don't care who gets the credit. They just want to make sure that the job gets done. So thank you all so very much for having us here today. I hope that this is something that maybe other places could look at and incorporate it into their own education systems as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Jacobs, don't go too far in case folks have questions.
Oh,
for.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Which I
no,
do.
that's quite all right.
That's why I was trying to
Danny?
get out here easy.
Regent Varlin? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I'm from Knoxville, and I just want to say how lucky we are to have Mayor Jacobs as our mayor, because he is very forward-thinking and has been incredibly supportive of our TCAT there and of the entire TBR system. He's just a champion for us and for education, but thinks outside the box and finds it's not, it's how we can do it. No is not the answer. It's how can we get this done? And
right.
we really appreciate it. Just think of if every mayor was like him, what would this system be like? And we have some great mayors, don't get me wrong, but he puts his, he walks the walk. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Regent Burdine?
Thank you. Earlier this week, I told Governor Lee, I don't know what his future holds, but I hope he continues to serve. And I'll say the same thing to you, Mayor. You've been a great mayor. I've watched you from afar and gotten to know you and greatly appreciate what you're all about. But I'll say the same thing to you. I hope you continue to serve somehow, somewhere. But I did hear a troubling conversation a little while ago. Heath McMillan leaned over to Jeff McCord and says, "You think we can take him?" And Jeff says, "I'm not willing to find out." Thank you, sir.
Thank you. If I could say something as well about Governor Lee, he's been a big advocate for what we've done at the START Center, obviously with his background. But I've been thrilled with the things he's done concerning career and technical education, especially in the skilled trades. So I think we've been very fortunate over the last 6.5 years to have him as the chief executive of the state of Tennessee.
Agree. Chancellor?
I just want to say thank you so much again for all that you're doing to help us. The relationship and the partnership between the TCAT, Pellissippi State, and you has made a tremendous difference in Knox County, and it really would not have happened without you. So thank you.
Well, thank you. But again, it takes all of us, but thank you.
So first of all, thank you for taking the time to be here. All of us know just how busy your days are. But second of all, from the time you've spent with our students and on our campuses, and thank you for that as well, give us your insight into what you see in our students and what we as a board may need to know in terms of what needs are not filled that we might need to focus more on.
Sure. Your students are motivated. They want to learn. They enjoy what they're doing. I think this is specific for the skilled trades because obviously at the TCAT campuses, they do a lot with healthcare and with nursing. Both my daughters are nurses, by the way, and they kind of followed this path. Once they graduated from high school, they both went to Walter State in Morristown, where they got their associate's degree and their RN certification. From there, they spent 8 to 10 years in the workforce, and then they both went to King University at the campus in Knoxville for Pellissippi Parkway. My older daughter is a nurse practitioner now, and she does critical care. My younger daughter runs a home health service in Morristown. But they followed this path, the same. Came out of school, 2 years, went to the workforce, went back to school, got their BSNs and then their advanced degrees. So I can see that with the nurses that TCAT is producing, that same career trajectory. When it comes to the skilled trades, something that we really have to work on is removing the stigma. My brother, again, when I think about his life and if he hadn't had the opportunities that he had with our education system at the time, he was still considered not bright. And he is very intelligent. If you see him work on a transmission, like, why can't you fix a transmission, Glenn? I don't know. I don't know anything about transmissions, but he can just bam, right? It's actually intimidating how smart he is when it comes to mechanics and other things as well. But because he learned differently, because he would have been a troublemaker in the classroom, frankly, because he was smart enough that when he got bored, he would have caused trouble. So he was able to use all that to more constructive purposes, right? But it was still a stigma even back then attached to him because he's always getting compared to my sister, who is brilliant. But we still see that. I was talking with the former director of CTE at Knox County Schools, and his son's best friend wanted to become a mechanic. His family is pretty well to do. He was afraid to tell his mom and dad. So it ended up falling to Keith, who is the former CTE director at Knox County Schools. He had to tell them. And of course, they were mortified. And he's like, come with me to the Volvo service center here in Knoxville. So they walk in, and it's like a surgical suite, right? And he's like, and here's, they're just blown away because they thought he's going to be up to his elbows in grease all day. And he's like, and here's the other thing. He's going to come out of school and he's going to make $75,000 a year with no student debt. At that point, they were like, we need to pull our kids out of four-year university and send them here. But that's the things. There are tremendous opportunities. And I think that the stigma still, for some parents especially, they don't want their kid to become that because they don't think that's an honorable job or that, that smart people don't get into that. And that's absolutely not the case. And I think that we need to do, both people like me, public officials, but all of us need to reinforce these are great careers and they're really smart people that get into them.
Well said.
Thank you.
Well said. It takes all of us, right?
That's exactly right.
Leadership makes a difference, yours and Kelly Cheney's. So thank you so much. Anybody else? Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Thank you for the
Well
opportunity.
done.
I appreciate
Kelly,
it.
as always, thank you.
Madam Chair, I have one more item in my report, and just to make everybody aware, the Comptroller's Office does a sunset audit on TBR generally every 5 years, and it's almost that time, again, for our sunset audit. So I've asked Mike Batson to please come up and just give us a little bit of an overview as to what you need to expect over this next year.
Good morning, Vice Chair Reynolds, Chancellor Tidings and board members. Thank you, Chancellor, for asking me to speak about this. It's been 4 years since TBR was part of the state's sunset review process actively. So Chancellor had asked me to give a reset on it for us. We've got quite a few new members and new staff, so we wanted to let you know what to expect there. As an auditor, I think of the sunset audit, but the sunset process is much more than just the audit. I want to cover some high points there. The sunset audit is different than the financial and compliance audits that our colleges and the system office go through biannually through the comptroller's office. Much different process than that. And I do have a little surprise at the end, so some of my slides may not be applicable as we go forward. But the formal name of the process is the Tennessee Government Entity Review Law. And that law allows the General Assembly to basically evaluate state agencies. Are they fulfilling their mission? Are they doing what they're supposed to be doing, what they're expected to do? Are they using the resources effectively? And are they minimizing duplication of services with other agencies? It also provides the General Assembly a way to independently evaluate each state agency. Excuse me. Each agency must be reviewed at least every 8 years, and they go through the Joint Government Operations Committee of the General Assembly. The General Assembly may set sunset dates earlier than 8 years. In our case, TBR's most recent date was 5 years. Our last audit was in fall of 21. Our current expiration date is June 30th of 26. That doesn't mean we expire. That just means that's when we're up for review. And as part of that review, they can expire an agency. That happens fairly rarely. They can change. They can look at your mission and change that. They can also do some reorgs. Last time, well, actually 2 audits ago, we had Tennessee Foreign Language Institute was removed from under the board and moved to UT as part of that process. So there can be changes through that. A key component of the Government Operations Committee's evaluation is the Comptroller's Limited Review, which can cover any aspects of the system. It includes financial and financial and statutory responsibilities, board meetings, memberships of the board. It also includes strategic plans, performance measurements, initiatives, challenges, accomplishments, and future changes of the board. They can cover any aspect of that. In 2021, the audit process, our scope for our audit initially was board responsibilities and open meetings, central office oversight of the colleges, as well as student success and workforce development. We had 2 observations as part of that process. One was to document our review of the college's key financial indicators, as well as sort of revamping our student organization policy, mainly around collection of funds for those student organizations. And those observations were addressed very quickly after that audit. Now, a little bit of a change. We found out last week that the Comptroller's Office has decided that for this cycle, TBR will undergo a Q&A review. In all my 30-something years, I've never been part of a Q&A review. It's always been a sunset audit. But to me, that sounds good. It will start later. It's a much shorter process than the audit. This fall, late summer or fall, they will provide to the system office a list of questions that revolve around the issues that I just mentioned. Responsibilities, financial conditions, those kind of things, just general measurements that you would expect. May include some other things we don't know yet. They haven't decided specifically what that will be. But in the fall, they'll give us those. I think my guess is about a 30-day turnaround, possibly. Our tentative date to go before the Government Joint Ops Committee is, I think, November 19th, tentatively. So it'll be a much more compacted process. Again, sounds easier to me than an audit, so we're very glad about that and we appreciate the comptroller's office considering that. The comptroller's office has offered in Regent Burdine, if you're okay with this, we can invite them to provide somebody at the next audit committee meeting to kind of go over the process better than I have. By then, they'll know more what the questions and answers will be for our August meeting. They'll have that solidified, and so they can probably answer some questions then. But that's, the Q&A process is kind of new for all of us, and again, we take that as a good thing. But that's all I have on this. Just wanted to provide you a brief summary of the process going forward, and I'll be glad to take any questions.
We're really excited that we have this type of audit coming up this year. And I understand that THEC got the same news, so we're going to take that as just a tremendous confidence that the comptroller's office has in us. So we're pretty excited. I will tell the quick story that I've been in this job about a day and a half, and the comptroller walked in and said, "You have a sunset audit in 2 weeks." And I'm going, "You mean you can shut me down in 2 weeks?" So it caught me quite off surprise at that moment in time, but it went really well. And thanks to our great audit department and our finance department and our legal department, we cross T's and dot I's. So I'm very thankful to the work that goes on there and all that you do to make this happen. So thank you.
I agree, and I anticipate no issues whatsoever. Watched you operate for a long time, Mike, and got a heck of a team.
Setting the bar pretty high there, so. But it's, again, the chancellor and her guidance and the board and, legal, Alicia's area, all of the staff at TBR are great when we've had those audits. They've been so smooth. Comptroller's office, again, they couldn't be better to work with, but just, I've been impressed with our staff. When they ask for something, they get it and no hesitation, and they get what they need and it's right. And that is a compliment to our staff as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Does that conclude your report?
Madam Chair, that concludes my report today.
Well
Thank you.
done, thank you, well done. 3 great items, and it was, again, thanks to Mayor Jacobs for taking the time to come up. That was an excellent report. Did you have something else? Oh, it does not conclude your report. She takes it back.
Madam Chair, I take that back. I have one more item that I would like to make the board aware of. I'm sorry. I'd like to take a few moments just to address an issue that has been making headlines, and I'd like to thank Regent Kastner for bringing an article to our attention regarding this, and it does have to do with the rise in fraudulent college applications and financial aid claims. There was a recent Cal Matters investigation that revealed that California's community colleges had been targeted by large-scale fraud operations, including coordinated schemes using AI-generated identities. And in some cases, up to 25% of their applications were flagged as potentially fraudulent, with significant financial losses. So you can imagine this sent the red flag warning up to us at a much higher level than we'd already been very vigilant. And while these numbers are extremely alarming, I want to just reassure the board that we were aware of a trend and that we have been proactively working to protect our institutions across Tennessee. Under state regulations, one of the rules, our applicants to our colleges are required to upload a valid form of identification. This step alone helped to mitigate a great deal of the risk, ensuring that we are, to the best of our ability, verifying that every applicant is a real person. In addition to that, our use of centralized systems like Slate for application processing adds another layer of filtering and oversight. These tools have helped to limit our exposure, particularly to the kind of high-volume bot attacks seen in other states. And that said, we're not immune. We are beginning to see a concerning uptick in the fraudulent applications. They've come equipped with very convincing fake documents, including falsified transcripts, scripts, and fabricated credentials. In the last 2 months, we are aware of 2 instances of fraudulent applications that did result in successful admissions to a community college and the application of aid. And in one scenario, a high school counselor's credentials had been completely compromised, resulting in the submission of a very realistic transcript. Increasingly, these are the work of individuals, not bots, and involve the use of generative AI tools to create highly believable submissions. Our internal teams, including admissions and records, internal audit, and IT, are collaborating closely on additional safeguards. Several colleges have already begun to implement other layers of fraud detection technology, and the topic has been formally discussed during admissions and records meetings, and our audit committee has also received continuous updates. And furthermore, the system office is creating means by which colleges can document and collaborate on known cases in an effort to identify any trends and gain a better understanding into the insight and scope of this issue. So, Madam Chair, to say all that, we're on top of it to the best of our ability. We'll continue to be vigilant, but it is a constant hit on the system. So, thank you, just for a quick update.
Madam Chair, thank you, Chancellor Tidings, for that update. The extent of this fraudulent activity, trying to pull down federal aid, I imagine state aid as well. I want to be partners as we want to protect our own financial aid investments, and if there's anything we can do at the state or a request to the state as well, I want to work closely with you for that.
Thank you. Oh, you have one more? Oh, my goodness, you just keep going.
I'm sorry. And finally, it is my honor to recognize Southwest Tennessee Community College on their 25th anniversary. Southwest was created effectively July 1st of 2000 as a brand new community college resulting from the merger of Shelby State Community College and the State Technical Institute at Memphis. Although a young 25, the college has deep roots through its parental institutions. The State Institute at Memphis opened its doors to its first students in January of 1968, and Shelby State offered its first classes in the fall of 1972. Both were created by the state legislature in the late 60s. And from the start in 2000, Southwest has been a beacon of opportunity in the Memphis area. And I'm very, very excited to tell you that yesterday they completed their COC review with 100%. So we're so proud of Southwest and their 25 years. And that is the reason that their president could not be with us this weekend. She was undergoing a COC review. So congratulations, Southwest, Dr. Hall, for the great work you're doing. Madam Chair, that truly is my last item.
That was a good ending to your report. Thank you very much. No, thank you for all those items. We have no unfinished business to come before the board at this time, so we'll move into our new business action items. Starting with the consent agenda, we were briefed on these three items at our May 28 committee chairs meeting. Of course, a policy to address requests to the board, to address the board, general policy on alcoholic beverages, and finally our new policy regarding the use of artificial intelligence. Does anybody have any additional questions or thoughts on these two revisions and new policy at this time? Hearing none, our consent agenda does require a roll call vote, so I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Thank you, Regent Powers. And a second?
I'll second.
Regent Burdine, thank you very much. Any discussion? If not, we'll ask Secretary Perry to call the roll.
Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Regent DeWitt.
Aye.
Regent George.
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Harrell.
Aye.
Regent Kastner.
Aye.
Regent Kelton.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds.
Aye.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Aye.
Regent Roberts.
Aye.
And Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you all very much. Brian Lapps, we have some proposed changes to our bylaws which require that we notify you one board meeting prior to making those changes. So this is our notification today on these proposed amendments. With your agreement, then, of course, we'll take these up in September for final approval. So Brian is here to fill us in today.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, Dr. Tidings, members of the board. Thank you for having me. As the chair mentioned, this is the first reading. The first reading is driven by, as John Williams explained yesterday, the new members we should be getting at any time, increasing the number of members we have by two. So that suggested we ought to increase the size required for a quorum. So that's the first thing, is to recommend a change to increase the size of the quorum from 9 to 10 members, as well as to change the number of members it takes to approve a change from the bylaws to 9 to 10 members. That's the main thing that drove this change. While we were going through, and the chair led this review along with Mariah Perry as well, of let's look at, while we're in the bylaws, of what else we need to do or could do to change and improve the bylaws. And on the theory that if something's in the bylaws, we ought to do it, and if we don't need it in the bylaws, we ought to take it out. There are several proposed revisions that I'll get to in just a few minutes. Finally, there's some stylistic revisions too that should be readily identifiable in the track changes materials you have, mostly just for consistency's sake, adding a couple statutory sites and just a general update. With respect to the proposed substantive revisions though, as I mentioned, we want to change the size of the quorum. It's recommended to increase that by 1. A change in the committee quorums is not necessary because the committees just require a majority of the committee members. With the committees having between 3 and 7, that should still provide sufficient flexibility on the number of members and not need a change to anything like that. With respect to changes on, let's make sure we accurately reflect what we're doing and not doing. With respect to the Committee on Business and Finance, the first change is in Article 3L1C, page 6 of your bylaws, which removes a reference to activity that is no longer being performed in practice, but the requisite, we think, oversight is already provided in the previous subsection. So in other words, we don't think subsection C is necessary any longer. In the next subsection, it removes a reference to the insurance coverage of buildings and its contents. As Dick Tracy explained yesterday in his presentation, the state of Tennessee Department of Risk Management, which is in the Department of Treasury, is the entity that identifies what the risk is, how it ought to be done, and then provides the insurance coverage, the self-insurance, and does those types of things. That's really not something this board has strict oversight of, although you obviously still have the ability to provide the oversight through the conversations you had yesterday with Dick Tracy. Moving on to the Committee on Business and Finance, there's also a reference in the bylaws, again on page 6, saying that the board is responsible for investment and reinvestment of trust funds and other money. That's also performed by the state. Treasury does that, and as a result, probably not needed to say that we ought to be doing, or that you ought to be doing that as a part of what you're doing. We also recommend removing a reference to extension services as just kind of a general cleanup matter. That's typically related to agriculture and land grant universities, with Tennessee State University not being a part of the system except for the School Bond Authority oversights and final approval of the budgets, as you all know. It's really not necessary to say that you've got oversight of extension services. And then there's a removal of a reference to student housing, reflecting that none of our campuses have residence halls. Walter State has an on-site law enforcement training academy, but that's not really a student housing type thing. So we don't think that that is necessary any longer as well. For the committee responsibilities on the academic policies and programs, I thought I already did this. Did we talk about Committee on Workforce Development, there's a reference of a removal on page 8. What it talks about is the Committee on Policies and Programs in Student Life providing oversight and making recommendations relating to academic programs, but neither the board nor any committee has been making these recommendations with respect to workforce development. So that's going to be in workforce development, not in the Committee on Academic and Policy and Programs, at least as a recommendation. So just keeping it in the place where it is currently done and most appropriately done, we believe. Then on page 8, we propose moving the reference to ensuring alignment to an earlier subsection that just kind of makes the Committee on Workforce Development's responsibilities more general. Doesn't take anything away, just provides more alignment and the ability to make sure we're doing what we're saying we're doing and keeping that straight. Then finally, with respect to the Chancellor's duties, there's no real change to her duties because as far as we know, she's not really overseeing any branches within the TBR system because we really don't use that term. So it's just kind of updating some language that Chancellor oversees colleges as well as the campuses, but not branches. And then finally, there's language that suggests removing, there's a proposal to remove language saying that the Chancellor will create at the board's, on behalf of the board, an annual report that is then transmitted to the legislature and the governor. That's just not something that's done anymore. So what we propose to do is to make the responsibilities more general, that under the board's supervision, the Chancellor will create reports as required by the General Assembly, by THEC, by the governor, and as necessary and required. So those are the proposals that we've got. Happy to take questions now. Happy to take questions offline if you have questions later, at any time up until the proposals are submitted in September.
I have one question, and it's regarding the student housing. Doesn't Columbia State, do they provide any kind of student housing? When I was there on campus, I saw something that looked like it was on campus.
I'm told that they don't, I'm told that they do not, and the Chancellor is confirming that, so. Yeah.
Have any student housing at all.
Okay, that's good.
I agree.
Thank you.
I agree.
Brian, real quick, related to that, I forget where I was in what context. Someone asked me, it said there's a law that prohibits student housing for community colleges, isn't there? And I wasn't, is there? Is that the case? Okay.
In statute.
It's in statute, all right.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
And I like to refer to that often when I have occasionally a college that wants to have housing.
Anybody else for Brian? All right, we'll have another chance to study up on these as we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
To you and Mariah for your timely work on this.
Well, and as I said before, the Vice Chair is the one who really dug into this and led these changes, so thank you for
Oh,
that.
that's kind of you. Thank you. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Chancellor, you have a building naming request for us today.
I am honored to bring this building naming request before you today. Roane State is recommending naming the Fentress campus in Jamestown in honor of Tennessee State Senator Ken Yeager and Fentress County Executive Jimmy Johnson. President Chris Whaley appointed a naming committee, and the committee unanimously approved the recommendation. Tennessee State Senator Ken Yeager has made substantial contributions to education and government throughout his career. As a former teacher, attorney, and assistant professor of law at Roane State Community College, Senator Yeager has consistently advocated for education in Fentress County. His efforts led to the approval of a permanent campus in Jamestown by the Tennessee General Assembly in 2022 and funding by the State Building Commission in 2023. Fentress County Executive Jimmy Johnson has demonstrated an unwavering dedication to his community. His advocacy for a permanent campus resulted in the donation of 31 acres of property for this project. Additionally, his efforts to restore emergency medical services to Fentress County have significantly improved the quality of life for their residents. The contributions of Senator Yeager and County Executive Johnson have had a profound impact on Roane State Community College and the Fentress County community. Their efforts to secure a permanent campus and their association with the donated property make them deserving of this recognition. At this time, it is my pleasure to bring this recommendation to the board for consideration, and I would like to call on Dr. Whaley for comments regarding this recommendation.
Good morning, everyone. Madam Vice Chair, Chancellor, members of the board, staff. Thank you for your consideration of this very important request, not only to Roane State, but also TCAT Oneida Huntsville, because of course this building that is being built now that will be completed in the spring of 2026 will be shared by both of our institutions. I'll be quick, but just to give a little context, Roane State has offered classes in Fentress County, which is a wonderful but very rural county in our service area, since the 1980s, primarily at York Institute and at Clark Range High School and some other locations. But in that time, we have never yet had a permanent campus. We've had wonderful temporary campuses across the street from York Institute, on the campus of York Institute. Our current facility, some converted retail space that we're very thankful for in Clark Range. But now we're getting ready in the spring again to open up our first and I might say the last permanent campus in the Roane State service area. We have permanent campuses in every other county. This will bring all those to a conclusion, to a culmination, if I guess I could say in a better way, because for years, Senator Yeager, since he's been in office in 2007, I think, when he first came into the Senate, since County Executive Jimmy Johnson was first elected as County Executive in 2018, they have made it their passion. Every day that they wake up, I've been convinced that they've been trying to figure out how to get a permanent campus in Fentress County. Chancellor, you have probably fielded several calls from Jimmy Johnson. Dick Tracy, I know, has fielded several questions from Jimmy Johnson. So, Madam Vice Chair, they have literally put this project on their back for years to see it to the finish line. And when we open it again in a little less than a year, again, with the board's consent, we would love for it to bear their names.
Very nice. Any questions for Dr. Whaley or Chancellor? Go ahead, Chancellor.
No, I was just going to say that the wonderful part is the Executive County Director, Mr. Johnson, sends me updated pictures regularly on the progress of the building from the moment that they knock the trees down to the grading of the land. This is an extremely important mission for he and Senator Yeager, and they have teamed up and they have been a dynamic duo to make this happen. So I cannot thank them enough for what they've done.
Here, here.
Thank you. Anything else we need to know on this?
I'd like to bring this to the board for their vote.
Thank you very much. Well, we have a recommendation to name this new facility for Roane State, and it's exciting. This is your last county, right?
That's right. Yes,
That
ma'am.
was interesting news.
Yes, absolutely.
So, your consideration to name it the Yeager Johnson building for Roane State. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Regent Powers, and a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Regent George. Any further discussion? With that, Mariah, and hopefully Regent Burdine will make it back in here too.
We still have a quorum.
We do? Perfect. All right,
the
let's
vote.
go. Thank you.
Regent DeWitt.
Aye.
Regent George.
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Harrell.
Aye.
Regent Kastner.
Aye.
Regent Kelton.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds.
Aye.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Aye.
Regent Roberts.
Aye.
Regent White. And Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Whaley. Thank you, Chancellor. And we'll look forward to the opening of this new facility. That's going to be exciting. So this next couple or three items are always a little bittersweet as we bid folks a fond farewell and best wishes. And we begin with a resolution of appreciation for President Tony Mixa. And Caden, Regent Kelchin, are you ready to read this for us? A Walter State graduate now, I guess, right?
Not quite
Not
yet.
quite
I'm getting
yet?
there.
December.
Though I do appreciate the excitement about it. It's going to come up here
absolutely.
soon in December. Yes, so like the Vice Chair Reynolds has stated here, I am, of course, a student regent, so I serve every community college, but of course, I'm going to have a preference. So, Dr. Mixa, I've been very, very blessed to be able to present this, a resolution of appreciation for the service for Dr. Mixa to the Board of Regents here. So, without further ado, whereas Dr. Tony Mixa has 31 years of experience in higher education, including 9 years as president of Walter State Community College. And whereas Dr. Mixa earned an associate's degree in mathematics from Kishwaukee Community College, a bachelor's degree in mathematics from Mount Mercy University, a master's degree in mathematics from the University of Northern Iowa, and a doctorate of education from National Louis University. And whereas under his leadership, Walter State was named the Tennessee Community College of the Year in 2022 and 23 by the Tennessee Board of Regents. And whereas Dr. Mixa greatly increased access to post-secondary education in the college's service area through the completion and opening of a 104,000 square foot building on the Niswonger campus in Greenville, Tennessee, the construction of a 35,000 square foot building on the Sevier County campus, and the addition of a center in Newport. And whereas Walter State has developed new academic and training programs in response to area workforce needs under Dr. Mixa's leadership, including certificates and degrees in butchery, digital media, and surgical technologies, and internship programs with local businesses and industries. And whereas Dr. Mixa has received the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society Paradigm Award given to college presidents who demonstrate support for student success. And whereas Dr. Mixa has aligned the college's budget with long-term planning processes and provided guidance in the development of initiatives focused on student success and built a substantial reserve account. And whereas Dr. Mixa has chaired and served on local and national boards, including Lakeway CASA, the National Junior College Athletic Association, the Walter State Foundation, hospital boards, and area chambers of commerce. And now, therefore, be it resolved, the Tennessee Board of Regents gratefully expresses its sincere appreciation to Dr. Tony Mixa for his outstanding contributions and leadership to the system, and wishes him the very best in his position of president of Johnson County Community College. With that, I would like to offer a motion to approve this resolution.
Thank you, Regent Kelton. We have a motion from Regent Kelton. Do we have a second? Second. Thank you, Regent DeWitt. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
If I could add a personal comment.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Dr. Mixa, I have not been at the community college the entire duration of your service, but believe me when I tell you that your presence has been felt in our local community for the entire duration of your service. I can speak individually, but also I'm sure I share the opinion of many of my colleagues here on the board, but also the students at large when I say we really, really appreciate your service and wish you the best of luck in your future. Thank you.
Well said, as always. Anyone else? Chancellor?
And I do want to say thank you to Tony for all the great work that you've done. I don't think that we've ever had a president that took being College of the Year quite as enthusiastically as you did, and I truly appreciated that. You made that a real challenge and an opportunity for everybody to see and celebrate it. So thank you for that. Thank you for the great job that you've done, and we know you're going to do well at your new college.
The only thing I want to make sure is that that trophy remains in Tennessee and isn't on a truck to Kansas in the coming weeks. Oh dear, you did.
We've already gotten the trophy back.
That's right. That's right. And I did have to smile to myself, Dr. Mixa, when Mayor Jacobs said that his two daughters had gone to Walter State. I thought, oh God, he's going to come out of his chair. But that was a nice coincidence to hear this morning, or maybe you already knew that. Okay, all right, very good. And we welcome Mrs. Mixa with us today as well. Thank you for coming up to be with us today. We're grateful to see you. Well, with that, if there is no further discussion, let's make this official.
Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Regent DeWitt.
Aye.
Regent George.
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Harrell.
Aye.
Regent Kastner.
Aye.
Regent Kelton.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds.
Aye.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Aye.
Regent Roberts.
Aye.
And Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Dr. Mixa, would you like to say a word? Please come to the stage. And as you come on down, we will offer our thanks once again.
Press the button. All right. So, well, thank you very much for the kind words. I truly do appreciate you. Thank you very much, Caden. I appreciate that as well. I just got a list of a few thank yous I'd just like to throw out. Start with the board. I really appreciate all the years that you gave us the resources that we need to be able to do what we could do at Walter State. Maybe call out a couple board members. Danny Varlin, she was on the search committee, and She was always great. She's always welcomed me. She always asked me how things were going at the college. Also asked about my family, so I really appreciated that as well too. Emily, it's been wonderful watching you work. You are a great board chair, or vice chair, I know, but officially. But great board chair and really a great role model, and I really enjoyed working for you. Chancellor, I appreciate everything that the TBR did for us, getting us all the resources that we need and the ability to do the things that we needed to do. I would say just a couple of employees that helped me out a lot at the TBR, Dr. Lemming and Tracy Bradley, now that she's there at the TBR. She helped me travel abroad, which I was able to gain some experience and knowledge and some skills there, and then bring our students as well too. We brought them there. We went from about 2 or 3 students a year traveling abroad to about 30 to 40 students, so that was a really big thing. I want to throw a shout out to all of the TCAP presidents. I appreciated learning so much about technical education. You guys were wonderful. A special shout out to one character there, Cliff. We got to share my first community college, or the college's first community college of the year. He and I were sitting at the table together. That was an awesome experience, so that was a lot of fun. To my colleagues, my community college colleagues, I learned so much from you. I'll be honest with you, and I say this with positivity. I tried to copy as much as you did, because you did wonderful work and bring it to the college. That copying is really shows that you guys are wonderful work. I want to thank all of the employees at Walter State, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, it didn't matter. You guys came through for me all the time. One of the things I always said about our employees is that they met the students where they are, they got them to where they needed to be, and they did an awesome job. A special shout out though to Leanne Long in the president's office. She was phenomenal, a great person, always there to give me the advice I need and to get to where I'm at. I will also give a thank you. I got, of course, a new board that I'll have to work with, Johnson County Community College. I appreciate the opportunity to come there and work at that institution. But I do say that thank you because obviously they give me my opportunity based on the work that I've done here, which is a compliment to the board here as well as the college, Walter State. So that's great there. And then on a personal note, my wife, you heard her, she's in the crowd. Deb's out there. My wife and kids, 9 years ago, we got in a car. We drove down to Tennessee. We changed our life a lot from living outside of Chicago. I remember the first night we got there. We got there before our stuff got to Tennessee. And so we had to go to Kmart. It was still open at the time. That was the only thing that was open in Morristown. We bought like some pillows, some blankets, and we slept on the floor of this condo that we were renting in Morristown. So it was great. And I really appreciate my kids were awesome. They did what I asked them. I said, just meet some people and have fun. And they did. They excelled. Both of them got full tuition scholarships, one to UT, one to MTSU. So I can't thank them enough. And Deb, thank you so much. You know, I'm kind of a little bit of a challenge junkie, kind of a little bit of adrenaline junkie. I love to go after new challenges. I can't think of a better person to go with on this new challenge after Kansas. So thank you very much for that. And I'll just finish, you know, for 9 years, you're in the rat race. And I say that in a positive way. I don't say that negatively. You're just working all the time. There's so much going on. These last couple of months, I've had the opportunity to step away a little bit, kind of step back as I get the college ready for the interim president as well as the next president coming to campus. And if there's one thing I know that we got to all continue to do here in Tennessee is continue to focus on the students. There's a lot of need out there. There's a lot of students that are struggling. There are a lot of students that really need the education that we offer them. And every day we've got to make sure that that's where our passion lies and that's what we're trying to do to be successful. And so the last thing, my wife told me not to say this, but I got to say it anyway. I always love doing this. Hi, I'm Tony Mixa, president of Walter State, the #1 community college of the year 2 times in a row. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
I have a feeling if there's not a community college of the year contest in Kansas, one may be coming.
A founding of that is certainly in the future.
Exactly. So thank you, President Mixa. Thank you, Deb. So, and Godspeed. Keep us posted. And we know you'll miss these hills and mountains of Tennessee, but you're in for a new adventure, and we wish you all the best. Thank you so much. And as you said, we will continue our focus on our students. Well said. Thank you. We now have a resolution of appreciation for our faculty regent, Ross Roberts, who has served so ably these past 2 years. Regent Burdine, would you do the honors?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Before I read all these whereases, I wanted to talk about Ross just for a minute. Ross, I have so enjoyed getting to know you. And the plane rides with you and Danny was a talking competition, of which I did not participate, even though I have a microphone. But I learned a lot listening to both of you talk. I mean that sincerely. But I do have to share a quick story. He wasn't on the board. You weren't on the board long when Governor Lee summoned us to have a meeting with him and all the regents. And I said, now Ross, don't try to dominate this meeting, but you did anyway. Remember that? And he's not shy. And we got to the end, and he was still talking. And I said, you see that person just stood up over there? That means the meeting's over, so be quiet. You said, yes, sir, thanks for telling me that. So it was a fun time. So let's read your resolution. Whereas the Tennessee Board of Regents in regular session on June 13th, 2025 wishes to express its sincere appreciation to Mr. Ross Roberts for his service as faculty regent. And whereas he was appointed by Governor Bill Lee to serve as a faculty regent for the 2023 to 24 and 24 to 25 academic years. And whereas Mr. Roberts earned his bachelor's degree in history and master's degree in education, both from East Tennessee State University. He has also completed coursework on his journey to earn his doctorate of philosophy and education from the University of Tennessee at Knoxville. And whereas he is an experienced leader and educator, serving as assistant professor of education and coordinator of the pre-teacher education program at Northeast State Community College, and as the college's president of the Faculty Senate from 2022 to 2023, Mr. Roberts was also recognized as Northeast State's 23-24 Distinguished Faculty Award honoree. And whereas Mr. Roberts has fulfilled his responsibilities on the board in an exemplary manner by contributing to the governance of the institutions within the board's purview and by voicing the perspectives and insights of faculty for education quality. And whereas during his tenure, he participated in the TBR Academic Affairs and Faculty Subcouncil meetings and has been an active contributor on the TBR Strategic Plans Steering Committee, offering valuable insights from the faculty perspective. And whereas he has provided leadership, guidance, and expertise to the board in the areas of articulation and student life, and has represented his colleagues and students with unwavering and distinguished service. And whereas Mr. Roberts actively devoted his time and attention to the deliberations within the Committee on Academic Policies and Programs and Student Life, where he brought invaluable insight from the campus level. And whereas he faithfully dedicated time and energy to serve on the Presidential Search Advisory Committee for Walters State Community College and Tennessee Colleges of Applied Technology, Harriman and Jackson. And whereas he's an individual of high integrity and wisdom with a sincere interest in the welfare of the college system of Tennessee and Tennessee higher education in general. And now therefore be it resolved that the Tennessee Board of Regents expresses its sincere appreciation to Mr. Ross Roberts for his dedication and contributions to the board and its institutions, and extends best wishes to him in all his future pursuits. With that, I'd like to offer a motion to approve this resolution.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Regent Powers. Any discussion, conversation? Regent Gentile.
If I may, real quick, I started on this board about 2 years ago, and it coincided with Regent Roberts joining the board as well. And I always love coming to TBR board meetings, the community, with the presidents, the staff, the regents. But the number one reason I always enjoyed coming was to be in your fellowship. Always gravitated towards you. We've gotten to know each other outside of the board meetings as well, and I'm looking forward to seeing where your leadership grows in the regents. And it was 2 SOAR dinners ago where I got to sit with you and Megan and learn about what all the wonderful things she was doing at ETSU, and she has since joined our staff and Director of Academic Affairs. And I just want to thank you for your friendship.
That was very kind. They're our higher ed power couple. So that's right. It's excellent. Chancellor?
Well, I also want to thank Ross, and there really is not enough thank yous to say to you for the times that you have given me guidance on faculty issues. We've had a few things that would come up, and Ross would be my first phone call and say, talk to me, explain to me how the faculty are looking at this, and his guidance and wisdom there has just been profound. I too look forward to your leadership journey with this system.
And how far out are we from the PhD? We're still,
Well, I put it on hold when this got started because I
Gotcha.
didn't know if I could be effective at all of it, be a good husband and father and do this well and teach well and that. So I put that on hold. So I think I've got 11 credit hours under my belt. And
Okay.
I think I probably have 67 more to go. So probably a few more years.
Keep
but,
us posted.
I
That's
sure
all right.
will.
The important thing is you are on this journey, so thank you. Regent Powers.
Yes, I just want to say, the word passion comes to mind every time I interact with you. It's just an intensity and a commitment to the work that's being done here, and I just thank you for that.
Very kind.
Madam
Anyone
Vice Chair,
else?
if I could add,
You
prob-
again?
I've got a microphone. Ross, I'll tell you that what I enjoyed about you most was hearing you talk about your family. You are one good dude, and Mrs. Roberts out there, where are you?
She may choke me for calling her out, but she's
Okay.
over there in the green jacket.
You didn't call her out, I did. so.
Okay.
You've got a wonderful family. I know all about them, and I so look forward to watching you someday become a president of one of our institutions. And we'll welcome you back.
Thank you. That means
Thank you, sir.
I think we need to get Miles to lead that search committee when the day comes.
Indeed,
That's right.
indeed.
Oh, well done. We will miss you, but we know you will not be far at all. So you're an important part of this system, as Regent Burdine just said. Well, with that, let's do the honors for Regent Roberts and call the roll.
Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Regent DeWitt.
Aye.
Regent George.
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Harrell.
Aye.
Regent Kastner.
Aye.
Regent Kelton.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds.
Aye.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Aye.
Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much. Ross, the floor is yours.
Thank you all so much. Miles, this might be one time when I'm really at a loss for words. This has been a profound experience. I've gotten an education. I've built friendships, relationships with everyone on the stage, people off the stage. I've tried to go out of my way the past few days, the past few meetings to just let you know what's on my heart, what's on my mind. So if I've spoken with you, you definitely know who you are, but if I haven't, I will be in contact soon. It's very important to me that people who stand out, they know they stand out to me. And I've been so inspired and motivated by everyone on this board. Next, Dr. McCord, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. It was after a faculty senate meeting. He said, "Hey, would you mind staying for a minute? I've got something I want to bounce off of you." And I said, "Sure, no problem." So the meeting ended, and it's just he and I on this Zoom call, and he said, "Hey, you know, I'm going to nominate. I've been asked to nominate a faculty regent, and would you be interested in that opportunity?" And I said, I don't really know what that is, but that sounds great. Let's do it. I would be honored. So he said, "Okay, great." And I was actually, you know, Walter State, it all comes full circle. I was actually at a site visit doing an academic audit for their teacher education program. I want to say it was April 13th, 2023, and Dr. McCord called and said, "Hey, congrats, you got it." And I was so excited. I had no idea what I was walking into. And I remember my very first meeting, it felt like this day was forever away, even though it was only 2 years. And then finally, my amazing wife, Megan. Thank you for your support, your encouragement. Thank you for being my best friend. And I'll just wrap it up with this, and I'll say that this is a really amazing way to wrap this up, because tomorrow we'll celebrate 11 years of being married. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to miss coming to these. I'm going to miss seeing y'all. You guys have my phone number. You know where I work. You know where I live. Please, if there's anything I can do to be of service to TBR, to the board, to anyone, please don't hesitate to reach out. And I'll be more than happy to be a part of whatever you guys have going on. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. As Regent Powers said, we just felt your passion and your commitment and your strength of character and everything you just said. So thank you. You are a blessing to this college and to our system. Thank you. It is an honor to know you. And one final resolution of appreciation today, and that's for Caden, our student regent, who's done such a remarkable job. Regent Powers, would you do the honors for us?
Thank you, Chair Lady, and I'll try to compose myself after that emotional moment. I'm most partial to our student regents as they are beneficiaries of this work. And they've each been inspiring to watch and serve with as our future leaders, as I mentioned to you yesterday, and Regent Keljan especially so. So I observed you yesterday with the students on campus tour, and that was a really beautiful interaction to watch because it's obvious that that's where your heart was, is to make sure that you were representing them and being their voice at this table. So I thank you for that. And with that, the resolution of appreciation for service of Mr. Caden Kelchin, a student regent to the Tennessee Board of Regents. Whereas the Tennessee Board of Regents, in regular session on June 13, 2025, wishes to express its sincere appreciation to Mr. Caden Kelchin for his dedicated and valuable service as student regent. And whereas Mr. Kelchin was appointed by Governor Bill Lee to serve as student regent for the year 2024 through 2025 academic year. And whereas he is a diligent student and leader at Walter State Community College, where he has excelled in a number of academic and leadership activities while pursuing an Associate of Applied Science degree in nursing and an Associate of Science degree in health sciences. A double whammy. And whereas in his role as student regent, he represented the interests, concerns, and voices of more than 140,000 students across the college system of Tennessee. While persevering as a student himself, he took his representative role seriously, advocating on behalf of his fellow students' needs. Notably, Mr. Kelchin served on utilizing artificial intelligence, or AI, in higher education panel at the 2025 Board and President's Retreat, where he shared unique considerations on AI from the student lens. He also serves on the 2025 TBR Strategic Plan Steering Committee, offering keen insights as TBR's mission and strategic direction are considered. And whereas he has used his experiences and unique perspective to devote his time and effort as a member of the Committee on Workforce Development. And whereas during his tenure with the board, Mr. Kelchin fulfilled his responsibilities through active and eager participation in board deliberations and contributed greatly to the governance of the system. And whereas he faithfully dedicated himself to the community and technical college system by serving on the President's Search Advisory Committee for Walter State Community College. And whereas Mr. Kelchin is an individual of high integrity and wisdom with a sincere interest in the welfare of the college system of Tennessee and Tennessee higher education. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Tennessee Board of Regents expresses its sincere appreciation to Mr. Caden Kelchin for his dedication and many contributions to the board and its institutions, and wishes him the very best in all his future endeavors. With that, it is my pleasure to offer a motion to approve this resolution, Chair Lady.
Thank you very much, Regent Powers. Regent Roberts?
I would love to second.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Any discussion? Chancellor, you want to lead us
Yeah, I
off?
do. I just want everyone to remember the name Caden Kelchin because we are going to see that a lot. This young man's got a huge potential in front of him, and he works hard, and he does it with great passion and great integrity. And so it has been an honor to have you join us on this board. Thank you for all the work that you've done.
And you know, wisdom isn't necessarily an age thing, but it often is. I was slow to gain any wisdom, assuming I even have at this point. But when you use the word wisdom in the resolution, I am just struck by the fact of the wisdom you bring and your character and integrity at what is, for me, certainly a young age. So, as Chancellor just said, the sky is the limit. You talk a lot about your mother and your time together, and I just have such respect for her, knowing of her through you. So we know the future is bright. We do hope you will not be a stranger. And as Chancellor said, we know we'll continue to hear about your career in the coming years. You are extraordinary. Thank you.
I'd like to add, I hope you continue going to school.
Oh.
Keep on keeping on, man. You're gonna be a good one. You are a good one. You'll be a great one.
And Miles, if I can add on to that, we were talking in the audience earlier, getting started with Miles. I hope you continue on to school too, because I would love to see you as faculty in one of our colleges across the system. You're passionate, you're dedicated, you're very articulate, and you impress and inspire me, and I know that you would do the same for students in the future. So thank you for being on the board. Thank you for your service. Thank you for the conversations. I can't wait to see what happens.
Before you speak, let us make it official. So get your thoughts together, okay? And anybody else? All right, Mariah. Oh, I'm sorry, Miles. Were you going to say one more thing?
I was gonna say aye.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
But
He's
she has to call on me first, though.
Thank you. Mariah.
Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Regent DeWitt. Regent George.
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Harrell.
Aye.
Regent Kastner.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds.
Aye.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Aye.
Regent Roberts.
Aye.
And Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much. Now, Regent Kelchin, the floor is yours.
Absolutely. I would not want to speak out of turn right before. They're like, you're so great. And then immediately out of. First of all, I just want to thank everyone, both those who are present here today and those who are not, who have been involved either in the process of being able to establish my time here or even just to get involved with the faculty and the staff that I've been lucky enough to meet through the many events that we've had throughout this year. I've got to say that I truly did not have any understanding of what I was going to do here when I originally applied. It was sort of like a clandestine delivery of, you need to do this. Oh. And I was like, all right, cool. We're going to talk about what it is later, right? But I truly have been so shocked and completely overwhelmed with how grateful I am for not only this board, but also the impacts that it's been very clear to have had upon the constituents and, of course, the students at large. And I do hope that you all know, as the Chancellor had mentioned, my name might be known in the future. I'm hoping it's not from infamy, but we're going to try and steer clear of that. No, this clearly calls out to, I have a very specific passion for this exact discipline, the need to service others. I've heard it said somewhere that great teachers are a form of immortality, that you are able to live on through your students and through the lessons you impart. And it's clear to me that the faculty here and those present as well take that mission to heart very seriously. So I've been very honored to participate. Thank you.
Thank you. You take everything to heart very seriously, and for that we are grateful. Thank you. The gratitude is all ours to you for taking this year, and I know at times it was difficult with schedules, but you made it all work, and you made a contribution. Thank you again. Caden, thank you. And we have one final item of business to conduct today, and with that, I would like to call on Regent Nisha Powers, please, ma'am.
Thank you, Chair Lady. It is my honor and great pleasure to call for nominations for Vice Chair for 2025-26 by way of a motion to nominate Emily Reynolds. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Regent George. And are there any other nominations? As there are no other nominations, is there a motion to close the nominations?
So moved.
Thank
Second.
you, one of you. I think it was Regent Harrell or Burdine. Thank you. And is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Regent Harrell. And thank you. We will have a roll call vote on that item, please. Mariah?
Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Regent DeWitt.
Aye.
Regent George.
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Harrell.
Aye.
Regent Kastner.
Aye.
Regent Kelton.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Aye.
Regent Roberts.
Aye.
And Regent White.
Absolutely.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
I just want to say,
yes, please.
so with that vote, we have reelected you, and I just want to tell you how deeply indebted we are. You've done this for 11 years, and in that capacity of vice chair, and we're just grateful for your willingness to continue that stellar work for another year. And I'll hand it back to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your kind words. And thanks to you all, and mostly to you for putting up with me. So I am grateful.
Now, everyone in this room knows who's the most grateful for this. Everybody. Thank you.
This really is an honor. So thank you for giving me another turn at bat, and I look forward to another great year together. We always have our challenges, we have opportunities, and there are a lot of good things going on in this system. So thank you all. I'm very honored. Well, with that, let's lead to the adjournment of this meeting. And in September, we get to go to an exciting new location that's going to be great for all of us to see. The Roane State and Knoxville TCAT Health Sciences Campus in Knoxville. We will begin those meetings on Thursday, September 18. Of course, that's our busy committee afternoon with our robust discussions. And then our full board will conduct its business that Friday, September 19. Chancellor, any closing words or comments?
I again want to thank Jeff, Heath, and the entire staff from both colleges from the bottom of our heart. You've done an incredible job of entertaining us, helping us conduct the work that's so important to the system, and we are again most grateful. I hope and pray that you all have a very restful weekend, because I know you're tired and worn out, but it has been an incredible 2 days. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. What did I say to you guys yesterday? You're happy to see us come, but you're even happier to see us go. So, and to everyone, have a restful weekend. This has indeed been extraordinary. Miles, we also owe you thanks for helping to guide this meeting and for giving us a little bit of Kingsport history last night. I know you love to show off your hometown, so it was a real thrill to be here.
I do, and I just offered a job to Deanne, because she actually knows more about Kingsport now than she ever did, but she's been telling everybody about it.
Excellent.
So when can you start?
I know. Oh. That's great. I'm glad you had a chance to show off Kingsport to her yesterday. Dr. McCord, Heath, any closing comments or announcements for us?
Let me add my thanks. Thank you for making the travel up here and for visiting, and please don't make it the last time. As you go out in the hall, the box lunches are here and this way, and you're welcome to take them in the car with you or make your way back over to TEC to eat at the tables, whichever you prefer. And I think Regent Burdine, do you have a special thing for folks up here?
I think we do. Vanessa, where is she?
I have no idea.
She's here somewhere with Hal's milkshake, so it was on her way. So
if we'll head that way, and if we see somebody with a milkshake, grab one.
Yeah.
But save a
Yeah.
strawberry for the chancellor. So, and with that, once again, thank you for being here. Thank you to the staff. Thank you for Heath. Thank you for Regent Burdine for making this couple of days a really, really good couple of days. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. And most of all, it's just good for all of us to have time together. It's simply not just fellowship. It's always good to get to know each other even better. But there's also a lot of work conversations going on in the background and the use of productive time. And of all the things we missed during the pandemic, the chance to visit our campuses was perhaps the greatest. So once again, it's nice to be up here after a 9-year absence. So it's great to be back in Northeast Tennessee. Does anyone have any other business to come before our board? Hearing none, safe travels. Let's get home. Have a good weekend. Thank you again, and we are adjourned.
Oh, and happy Father's Day.
Oh, yes, happy Father's Day. That's a good one. Thank you, Chancellor. Thank you all.